Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming. I'm Dell and this is From the Depths, the campaign where we left it previously. We just defended against the first attack from the Deepwater Guard, and now we've got to do some more work on this before the next attack, because there is another force coming into us. Now I have done a little bit of work. Relocated the items on the top, moved the oil producing to near the rear of the fortress, and basically just started with moving everything to its better location, so we're a little bit more resilient in the event that we get attacked. So I've also moved the missile system into a slightly different design. I like to have things movable, so this is now a missile pod, which we'll most probably see having an effect at long range. I've also quickly put a little cram cannon in. Now I want to do some more work on these cram cannons, because the Cram Cannon basically takes over from the originally was the custom cannon. There's a lot of similarities, but it is a slightly different to build this compared to the original custom cannon, which was a little simpler. These are still relatively simple, I think. They're great for putting out some nice big shells. Anyway, this was just a quick little build because I didn't have that many resources, and these enemies were coming across up to me rather fast. Now this is one part of when you start the game or start the campaign. At the very beginning you will have a lot of, I think, a lot of attacks in fairly short time period after spawning in. So you have to be prepared to defend yourself against the Deepwater Guard at the very beginning. Quite a few before you can settle down and start thinking about building any large forces. You've got to get over this initial sequences of attacks that they're going to put you through. It is, that's part of the game. It's part of this first initial campaign. And the Deepwater Guard are fairly easy to build and cheap, so you will get a lot of them. They have got quite a range of ships, so we're going to be seeing what's coming in. Let's have a look. At the moment we seem to have a casket bolt, which I haven't seen myself, Sinners Luck, and it looks like a couple of vanguards. Now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna bring in my forces here into the attack. These are the starter ribs, and I have updated them a little bit from what we had previously. I've just mucked around with the missiles a little bit, and also put a little cannon on them as well, just to get them a little bit more damage into the enemy. As you can see, they're still actually rebuilding. This is how quickly this attack came. I hadn't even finished doing a retro build on these items. I'm actually running at slow speed at the moment, just whilst I'm starting this video, so it doesn't suddenly rush into the battle. So yeah, it shows how quick that attack was. I mean, in game terms, I most probably had about almost about 20 minutes before the second attack was coming in. So anyway, we're gonna have to get this attack underway, or defend against this attack, as soon as we can. So we're gonna just start this off and hope that we can get some of these guys to take them out. So we're gonna start this off. So if I'm gonna attack with this and bring our fort in, so let's start this attack off. There we go. Right, that's now blockaded, and we'll bring our fort in. And we look at the battle lineup. We'll put the fort at the bottom, although it's not going to matter because everything's going to come in. By the looks of it, we've got 4,500 blocks and they have 5.4. So, you know, they're slightly larger. Now, I'm just hoping that our forces here will charge into the enemy over there and launch all their missiles off. That's the plan. Let's see how this goes. So let's make sure I'm not on any missiles, and our base has brought its missile systems online. As you can see, I've made it so that these actually move up before they start firing. Some of them haven't fired at this second, but we'll sort that one out in a little while. Right, so let's see how our ribs do. Now, I'm expecting these ribs to take a bit of damage, but we've got quite a few of them. So you can see that they're coming in, firing their missiles, which is good. Let's go off the off here. So what have we got here? This is the Vanguard retrofit, but this is the Sinners Luck, which is the first one. Looks quite big, actually. Definitely looks larger than I would, but we've got some missiles coming in, so hopefully these missiles will go in. And you'll notice on the front of them there is also a little, looks like we've taken out the retrofit. He's damaged. You can see the little cram cannon I put on the front of it. Unfortunately, some of them are getting a little bit damaged. Unfortunately, these are doing a little bit more damage to me than I had hoped. So how's our main system working? Right, we have some anti-missile systems are firing at the moment, which is good. Just waiting for our main missile system to hopefully fire. We'll just see if there is a problem with it. Well, the base is now the main attack now. I had done something slightly wrong on the missiles, typically. So we have now got missiles and our cram cannon, hopefully defending us. We have a missile system is now firing quite nicely. It's doing a bit of damage. It's not a high damage gun, unfortunately. Our cram cannon, you can see it's hitting. Do need a little bit more damage to it. You can see it's hitting, but not really as much damage as I would like. But at least it is doing some damage, which is a good starting point. Although it's now getting around on the side of us, and I've got to really hope that the missile system can finish off this enemy vessel. It's coming in for another firing solution, hopefully at, well, it's firing at something, so right, I'm gonna have to, I think, turn my gun to face the enemy. So let's turn this around, because obviously I think I've jammed it up somehow on here, so it hasn't got a full turn. So there we go, start firing again. There we go, thank you very much. Let's face the enemy. And what I'll do is find out what I did. I know what I did wrong here. Let's connected them to the wrong piece. Anyway, we can sort them out later. At the moment, I've just got to survive against here. So let's just make sure these missiles will fire. Oh, they are still firing. Good. Let's make sure I haven't put any constraint on them for range yet. Let's just bring this down so they will shoot at this guy. There we go. Hopefully they will have enough agility to fire at him. Oh, possibly not. Okay. Right, we did actually manage to kill him in the end, and we did get a battle finished, but that was a bit tight. A little tighter than I wanted it to be, and we took a bit more damage, certainly, than I would have liked. So, but that's all part of the game, learning a bit. Some of our defences were quite good, but we've still got a lot of missiles flying around by the looks of it. Our our starter ships are not up to the task, certainly. Definitely not up to it. And we've still, it looks like there's some missiles around somewhere, which is basically having a go at our ship. Possibly some torpedoes or such were giving us some problems down below. So, okay. Let's just have a quick look at the map. To come off build mode, into the map. Now we've got some resources we can pick up with our fleet. So if we tell our fleet, we're going to tell our fleet to start repairing again. And at the same time we'll tell it to go and pick up all these resources as part of its repairs. Come down here and then head back over towards the base. That should sort it out, and hopefully our base will repair at the same time. So, okay. Survived, just. Cram Cannon needs some work. Definitely not enough damage, etc. When they get in close. So, we need some more defences. Some closer range defences I think would be good. This missile system, once I now that I've got it set up, I think it will be good for long range. Just needs some short range. So we're gonna build another Cram Cannon, I think, for a slightly longer range, and designed to take out vessels, you know, that are quite far away. We're going to try and go out so the 2,000 meter range with a large cannon. At the moment this is only a 485. Explosive damage was, it looks like, reasonable, but and it did eventually destroy that, but it just needs a little bit more oomph. So what I'm thinking is maybe if we put a double cannon up on this upper deck as the main cannon gun. So we're going to go through creating a Cram Cannon. Now, just to make this, I'm going to slow this down. So what we can do is set this at 0.1. So everything runs slow. You can notice everything's slowed down. Now that includes I'm not going to be getting resources very quickly. So that's okay at this moment, because we're going to do a bit of planning first. And also I'm going to deconstruct this particular gun, so we'll get the resources back from it. So if I just start doing that by now I'm actually selecting, rather than just destroying it in one go, I'm actually going to take all of the items away. That way the resources will go into our resource pool straight away, rather than them having to be gathered through the resource collectors. So this is always better if you can. Now I'd done this wrong, because I'd connected some of these items to the wrong parts. That's why it wasn't turning correctly. So I'll have to not do that on the next one, obviously, because that was a sort of oops type moment. So if I remove that, there we go, and just take off the last little pieces here just to reclaim them. So what we're going to go for is a these are going to be a fairly large cannon for long range attack or long range defense. I'm going to take off this crystal growth there. We'll relocate that later. So let's see, where are we going to put this? We're going to put it on a turret. So we start with new object, 2-axis turret, but we're going to use a single axis because we only need it to go move horizontally. Horizontally. We don't need it to move in the vertical as well because we're going to use an elevation barrels to make it move in the vertical. So let's see, how big an area would we need? I think 4-way. Yeah, let's put it in the centre-ish. About there will do. Now, so the first thing we want to do is create a base for our weapon. I'm just going to check and make sure I can put underneath. Yep, we can put the controller underneath, which is good. So now to make this as secure as possible, what we're going to do is we're going to put some metal blocks all the way around. And you can see I'm struggling with some of the resources, so that could be a problem long term, but it's okay at this second. Now I'm also going to use some metal beams because just looking at this, no, we'll leave it at that level for the moment. Now if we're going to do a 2-gun system, we can either do them so that they are mirrored and the cannons are close to each other, just one away, and all of the connections on these cannons are on the left or right, but the centre is fairly well left on its own. So what we're going to do, we're going to have these go slightly to the rear and the cannons go forward, because these are going to be relatively large cannons, I'm thinking at this moment. We need some more blocks then. So I'm going to be I'm setting up what I think is a good base for this cannon before I start building it. Yeah, so we're going to go back there, and we might go forward as well a little bit. So we won't be going forward on there, and this is our farthest back now. So first of all, we have to locate our firing pieces. So I'm going to put a block on there because I want to be able to allow it to go up and down. So the firing piece is there. Now the one point if you're building a we're just going to build one for the moment, and that will be where the second one will go. We'll do it with the mirror line actually. If we just start with the mirror line, then I won't forget later. So first thing to put in here will be the barrels. So we put an elevation barrel in, which is not getting mirrored, and then we put motor driven barrels in. They are getting mirrored, which is good. Maybe because of I've got fairly low resources. So we're 2, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 5 barrels on there. 5 motor barrels, 1 elevation, and that's given us an 80 elevation arc, which is quite a good elevation. Now I think that we only need 45 degrees, so we're now going to use standard barrels. So I've put 5 standard barrels, and the elevation is still showing as 80, which is good. So if we put another standard barrel on there, let it now we're down to 45. If I put another one on there, let's see what that takes us down to. Just 30. So I'm going to go back here. So it was 6 standard barrels to 5 motorized and 1 elevation. That's fine. That's good enough for our starting position here. Now, under the cram, we can add lots of other little bits and pieces to this. Now I join it with lots of 6-way connectors. Now we've got all of these laser targeters, fusing boxes, predictors, and other little bits here, but we're going to go for a fairly simple system here. So we're just going to use some 6-way connectors, which basically allows us to use all of those other items, and we're just going to join it on the side here. To about there. That will give us plenty of room to connect onto this block all of the other items we want. Now first of all, I want some gauge. Now the gauge is basically increasing the size of the cannon, and the oops, I went to the wrong place. Let me just take that off. There we go. Increasing the size. So at the moment we have a 200mm. If we put one gauge on, wait for that just to so we're now up to 300mm, and now we can add more gauges on. So if we put actually we'll put it to the front of it. Let's see. No, we'll put it here. Actually, we'll put it at the back. So we put another one on, and we're up to 395. So you can see there is a diminishing return. $485. I think we can go a bit bigger than that. $571. So you can see the size of these guns already, and the inaccuracy is 0.88. I think we're a bit bigger. Yes, bigger. Now luckily you can join the gauges to each other. So 571 at this moment. 652. I think a little bit bigger. Now you can see the reload time has gone up significantly. 10 seconds a shot, which is, we're at 728, which is quite good. I like that. I think that will be enough. In fact, what I might do is put that one there and take that one away from there. Now what we need to do is increase this firing rate. Now one way to do that, or the easiest way, is to use auto loaders. Now loaders. I won't say auto loaders. They are called auto loaders. So if we just put some auto loaders down here, so load that up with auto loaders. Now on its own, let's just see, these are not made a change. We need to put some ammo boxes on these now. So what I intend to do is mix the ammo boxes between the standard and or high explosive. Now I don't want to go too high here, so what we'll do is we'll do a row of ammo on these loaders, and just see what effect that has. So we're down to 6 already, so that's taken us quite nicely down to a 5-second firing delay, which isn't too bad. Now what we can do is we can put some high explosive in here as well. So actually I'm going to do some hardening first, just to get the armor piercing value of this gun up as much as we can. Now you can put these directly onto these 6-ways. You don't have to put them onto the auto loaders, but if we look at this here, once it comes up, so we've now got a armor value of 10.8. If I take that off, the standard value, once it sorts itself out, still is 3.8. If I put it down here instead, it's cramming in. Come on, there we go. You can see it's gone to 6.4. That will go up a little bit as it loads the shell and crams the shell a little bit. So we're getting an immediately a better value if we do put it onto a loader. I think that's relatively can be seen relatively easily there. So already 11.6. So we're going to put just to check something. Yeah, we're going to put 2 of them, and that will give us 11.9. Okay, that's not too bad. That'll go up a little bit higher. Then we'll put a high explosive on the other ones. And now you can watch as they connect. You can see what effect they will have. So we can see immediately a radius of 15.2, which is plenty enough. And so the other thing we can do here is, what I might do is a little bit of a safer design, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under here and connect these 3 of them there. Take that one off. And then put the ammo boxes underneath, and that way I can put a bit more ammo armor protection on the front of this, and then put some more HE in here, and maybe one more armor, and we'll see what that gives us. Take that one off there. There we go. We will need to be increasing the width of this to cover the sides. There we go. So what's our gun got now? Reload time of 5.95. So that's the only. That's not great actually. The reload time, but it's hitting with significant armor piercing and explosive power. So if these hit, they will destroy anything it hits. That was the plan, and I think we're succeeding at that plan. We'll put another one of those on just to see if we can get it a little bit lower. Just put a couple of ammo boxes on there. Basically surround it in ammo boxes. There we go. .2 is the best I can get. I'm just going to try a couple of little bits. So if we take off this high explosive off of the auto loader, at the moment it's got a. You can see the explosives is building up. Now one thing is, we don't want the fire rate too low, because it won't have time to pack the shell. So if we, I'm just going to try something. 5.2. If I take that off there, replace it with a normal ammo, yeah, and then put that instead on the side. I'm just going to try that, see if I can get a better effect on the reload time. Okay, so that's taken the reload time down a little bit, but the explosive is down significantly. You can see we were over 3,000, we're now at 2,000. I think that'll be high enough though. I think that's possibly good enough for what we require here. So let me, now what I'm going to do is put some metal straight down the center of this to protect the guns, so that they don't try and blow each other up if we take a hit. And I'm just going to armor this up. So let me just sort that out as a bit of armoring, make it look a little nicer, and then we will see how that works. So here is the little pair of cannons on our little turret here. Nothing amazingly special for the guns. You know, it's not a great design, and I will work on some better designs. You can see it has got a nice rotation, so point at our target. I've saved a little bit of metal with the design, put a bit of wood in there. Range wise, it's okay. You know, we want to get things as they come around here, and if we fire, we've got a fair old range there. If I look at the stats on that, if we get in there, we've got an explosive damage of 2,000, kinetic damage 2,000, but be aware that is only the first shot. So if I do a couple of shots in succession, so first shot there, and then second shot, you can see the explosive is a lot less. That's because the shells are created each time it fires. So you need a bit of a delay for cramming or creating the shell. That's why they've got a reduced explosive damage there. That's also, let me just get my character off there a little bit, put it back onto the manual. When I was designing it, if I'd have used more loaders and put the HE components on the loaders, it will increase the kinetic and explosive damage quicker. So there is an advantage of not firing too fast, basically, for these weapons. Now I can increase a few bits and pieces by increasing the barrels, but we're just trying to create some big hitting against large targets at reasonable range, combined with our missiles, so that's reasonable. As I say, I'll go through the crams a little bit better and maybe have a bit of experimentation of really big guns and how to make them really load a bit faster, but they're not designed to be fast reloading. These are really designed, in my view, to be big damaging, slow firing, but if they hit, they hit with a big punch type of design. So what I will also need is some cannons for small targets, fast firing. So because at the moment, if we get an aerial targets come in, we're going to have some problems. So my next work I will work on in the next episode on this will be moving. I'm going to move the engines out. I'll do those offline, the engines and some of this storage. I'll move them out to some areas around the back. So we split the engines up into 2 areas. So if one gets hit, we don't take all our engines off in one go. And some of the advanced cannons, potentially, to act as AA guns. Or maybe, instead of advanced cannons, maybe I'll look at low gauge, fast firing cram cannons as a sort of AA gun, instead of going for the advanced cannons just at this moment. So yeah, that will be the plan for next episode. The other one I am going to do in between is a design of our next ship. We've got those starter ribs, but as we saw, they're just not up to scratch at the moment. So based upon what some people have suggested, looking at some classic designs, I'm going to go to some early ship designs, try and find something and make something which can go against some of our targets we've seen. Maybe 1 or 2 designs, something with a bit of oomph, and can last a little bit better, but not too big. Those starter ribs, I don't want to go too large a ship in the first stage. So I'm going to do some basic design, shipbuilding design concepts that I go through to get a nice efficient ship. Anyway, as always, leave any comments below. Always like to hear the comments. Any suggestions, please leave them below as well. I did ask before about the type of ships, and most people have said they'd like to see classic shaped ships rather than going anything too outlandish, and that sounds good to me. So any type of classical design. Now I will change one thing. I'll just have a quick say this. I'm a great fan of some of the cartoon and animated type of style things, especially some of the space mech stuff, Gundam, going back to Robotech, some of the more recent stuff, you know, Aldona Zero, Night Sidonia, Arpeggio of Blue Steel, which is actually a good one, that one, Arpeggio Blue Steel, because it fits in. So what I'm going to do is have a classic shape, but the thing I like in this game and to make is add a little bit of movement to them, such as my missile block here, and I mean, I like this design here, and I'm going to put some use a classic design, but it might have a second mode. So in battle mode it may open up to show some extra defenses, or in some way be slightly different to the classic shape. See what you think, but yeah, I think things that have movement are much more interesting, and it's a bit more of a challenge as well. So that will be the design ship, the ship design, which I'll must be put up next, actually, because I might need that for our next move in here. Although I will be moving the engines, etc., I think my next stage is we got to go on the attack with the new ship. Anyway, hit that like button if you wouldn't mind, because I like to be liked. Leave any comments below. As always, keep playing and have fun.